G'day, I'm Jamin Heppell, the founder and director of Game Changers Australia. I'm 23 years old, I've got two younger brothers, an incredibly loving and supporting family, and I grew up in a little town called Leongatha, about an hour and a half southeast of Melbourne. Leongatha has an incredibly lively and passionate sporting culture, and I was fortunate enough to be a real part of that, mainly through the football and netball and basketball club. Throughout my involvement within the local sporting community, I often gravitated towards various leadership positions. So whether that was the vice captain or the house captain or the captain of the team, I always liked the idea of being a leader. When I was 16 years old, I was named the captain of my under-16 footy team. And at that time, like I said, I didn't really know what it was to be a leader, but we really admired those who were in the senior team, and as such, any culture that was established within the senior team transpired down and become a part of the under-16 culture as well. At this stage of our club's development, there was a couple of players that brought in recreational drugs, and as such, myself and my mates were then being exposed to these drugs, and because our idols and our role models were taking these, it then became something that was acceptable within my peer group. Whether it was resilience or just so far against my values, I opted not to go down that path. But what it sort of highlighted to me and brought about was an acknowledgement of some of the negative cultures that were attributed with local sport, and particularly sort of our local sporting club. So things like racism, homophobia, gender inequality, people's inability to talk about and acknowledge depression, and drug and alcohol abuse. And then that's not to completely disregard the amazing things that sport provide for people, such as a real sense of belonging, character building, teamwork, and just fun. And that's what people go into clubs for. So I believe that if we can create a real positive culture within local sporting organisations, that can have a really powerful impact on the development of the young people and young leaders within our community. So when I was in year 12, I was nominated to be the school captain, and I was selected to go on a leadership development program run by YMCA Victoria called You Know Why. Now this was the first time that I'd ever been taken out of the bubble of Leongatha and then put into a space where we had no connection with the outside world, and I was introduced to 59 other young leaders from throughout Victoria. For me, it was the first time I'd ever been introduced to a Muslim, first time I'd ever met someone who was gay and open and proud about it, someone who had depression and was happy to talk about it. And for me, it just sort of opened my eyes to the diversity of Australian culture and gave me a real appreciation for this. But the thing that frustrated me most was, why did I have to be school captain? And why did I have to have such a position of leadership to be enabled this opportunity to be exposed to such diversity? And for me, look, as much as I was frustrated, I was also inspired, because it had such a profound impact on me that if I could enable other people to have a similar experience, this could become a game-changing opportunity to create a bit of social change back home and in local communities. So this is actually what brought about the idea around Captain's Camp. So Captain's Camp combines both my passion for leadership and personal development and also my passion for sport. So what we do is we engage the captains of under 15 and under 16 football and netball clubs from around rural Victoria, mainly out of Gippsland. And we bring them down onto a space where we introduce a whole bunch of personal development, leadership development and sports development content, and have them reflect on their local club culture, ultimately go back, identify, is it positive, is it negative, and then implement some strategies to help create positive change within their local clubs and communities. So the program runs for 6 months with 3 residential components that are based around the content, as I said earlier, but also focus heavily on exposing these young people to the diversity of Australian culture. And it gives them a real sense of, or a real transformational experience to becoming a young leader and knowing what it is to have a different culture and know that change is possible. So the way that we engage these under 15 and under 16 sporting captains is we present to the club's board. We ask them to identify the young people who they believe will be the future leaders of their club. Once they identify who these people are, they go through a process to invite them to be a part of the Captain's Camp program. The program itself costs $1,500 per person. So the way in which we promote this is it's seen as an investment in the future leadership of their club, and it's also incredibly impactful on the individuals who are selected as part of the program. So this in itself not only impacts club culture, but these young people also go to school, and being young, charismatic individuals, any new approach or new way of thinking or new way of behaving that they take on will also rub off onto their peers, and as such create culture change not just in the club but also the school and in turn the broader community. So in terms of the overall profitability of the program, it's $1,500 per person. It costs us roughly $1,000 to run the program over 6 months per person. So as such, we earn roughly $500 per person on the program. At this stage, we've got 30 participants as part of the pilot program this year. But in future, we're looking at expanding that to 60 young people in each program, but also running simultaneous captains camps all throughout Victoria and one day all throughout every region of every state and territory within Australia. So the profitability there increases as we engage more young people, but also once we incorporate as a non-profit and start applying for government grants and attain DGR status so we can get philanthropic support, that will definitely increase our ability to become a sustainable and very profitable non-profit organisation. So as for our competitors, I guess there are many providers in the leadership development space. I think the thing that differs us from organisations such as Reach or Outward Bound or Lifesaving Victoria, which run their own internal leadership programs, is the fact that our program begins and ongoing. So there are 3 residential components whereby we continue to re-engage and reconnect with these young people, so we continually reinforce the key themes. Other programs such as ones that the YMCA will present have a stop-start nature similar to one that I experienced. I think the other key difference between Captain's Camp and other programs is we're very specific as to who we recruit as part of the program. So we're looking for those that are the leaders in their local sporting clubs, because ultimately these guys are the young influential people who are going to impact change. So we're quite specific as to who we're looking to recruit. So at this stage, Game Changers Australia is about to incorporate as a company limited by guarantee, so an official non-profit. At the moment, all programs run by Game Changers, such as Captain's Camp, run under a volunteer capacity. So with additional funds, it would enable us to really market our program so then we can run multiple programs simultaneously throughout the state. It will also enable us more resources for program development and really making it a professional organisation. So the Crunch program will really enable Game Changers Australia to become an incredibly professional organisation. Whether it's through connecting us with the right people, or hooking us up with potential funders, or helping us out with future business strategy. We're incredibly excited by the potential and the opportunity and the doors that may open through being involved in this program, and that's why we're applying.